This is the Padua Podcast Network. Running a Fever, episode 273. Shattering the Yo-Yo. Goals and Priorities. Previously on Running a Fever.
I've got a special guest here today. You won't be able to hear him very well, but he's kind of my boss, I guess you would say.
Well, your partner in crime, more like it.
Partner in crime is another good way to put it. But Tom Rohr is with me here today. He's the chief of everything at Padua Podcast Network, which by now you hopefully know. Fall of 2016, we got together. And we did our life plans. I've talked about on the podcast the book that you gave me, Living Forward.
Yeah.
And how we developed a life plan. And I remember that both of us had physical fitness near the top of our list. It's actually the number one on my list. So it took me a year to get started on that.
Good things take time.
Yeah.
But I think the challenge for both of us is to make it a priority.
Yeah, absolutely.
To plan our day around that activity.
Yeah.
But you're motivating me with your podcast.
Well, that's good. The podcast motivates me as well. That's my main motivation for doing this. Initial goal was to do 2 laps, which would be 10.5 miles in one day.
Did you put a time on that goal?
Yeah. November, I believe it was the 18th, 2018.
Well, and I think the goal has to be realistic. It can't be too easy, but it can't be too hard either.
Got to have something else to motivate me.
Right. So what is that something else for you? What's it going to be here?
There's a lot of things I want. Like I said, I keep overcommitting myself.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have to move these things out, and I might have to live to 120 to get them all done. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Just more chance for good friends to get out on a nice walk and
there you go.
Share their day.
Yep, this is it. This is right here. This is a good life.
Yes.
In episode 38, I met with Tom, and we talked about our goals and priorities. At the time, I had set the specific goal of running 2 complete laps at Lake Fayetteville in a day. And if you've ever listened to the show before, you know about Lake Fayetteville. If you've listened to any, number of episodes, you know a lot about Lake Fayetteville because I've spent a lot of time there and walked a lot of laps. I wound up meeting the goal, although I adjusted for the fact that by November of 2018, I had decided that running was not a healthy option. So I walked the 10.5 miles instead. The extremely long-term goal was to live to 120. I'm still planning on that. Where I am today is back at a starting point, starting over, wanting to shatter that yo-yo forever and maintain a healthy weight, among other things, indefinitely. Now, a couple of episodes ago, I'd gotten on the stationary bike a few times, and now, this week, I've gotten on it it's been almost 2 weeks now that I've gotten on it every day in a row, except for Sunday, which I took off. All I did, I'm just waking up earlier, and just for a few minutes, I'm riding at an easy pace. When I say a few minutes, I mean it. This morning was probably the most I've ridden, and it was a little over 10 minutes. But the point is that I'm establishing that habit of exercising every day. And it's enough, given my current conditioning, which is really bad, to get my heart rate up and even release some endorphins, which helps relieve stress. I think this has a great benefit in addition to being the first step that is necessary for any progress. It's getting me in the habit of regular exercise, that thing that Tom talked about in episode 38. Planning my day around ensuring I get that exercise. Making it a priority in my actions, not just words. And the stress relief will help me to eat healthier and stick to healthy activities. This is a very good lesson from the past, and one I'm already putting into effect. So I hope this episode has been helpful to you. If you got the fever, keep it. If you don't, catch the fever. And I'll talk to you next time on Running a Fever.